Skywatch AI Insurance is on demand and anytime you need it, check out the link below. I'm Justin Davis and this is Drone Camps RC. Here it is, guys, the Drone Camps review of the R Pro, and we can't do a review without really getting out there and hammering a Baby Hawk R. And the R Pro has some new stuff included with it, which I think you're gonna like. A pretty good price on this micro brushless. We've had tons of awesome quads in the shop this week, and the R Pro is no exception. I haven't done this review yet because I've been trying to really fly this quad and find out what's different about it for you guys, and also find out how it handles on Emax's PIDs that they've given us. So if you check out the Emax website on the link down below for Emax USA, you can grab the entire dump and load it into your quad. That just means all the settings from the Emax pilots are in there for you guys, ready to go this time. You don't have to worry about PID tuning this quad. So plug in your battery, bind it up, and set up your OSD, your switches and your modes, and you're ready to go. Now we're gonna do something awesome on the channel. We're also gonna give one of these away in the month of October. If you wanna click on the link down below, sign up to be my Patreon, please, because it's $1 or more and you can support my videos, and we're gonna keep awesome videos coming to you guys. But this one is going to ship to somebody's door this month for free. Winter pay shipping for this one. Bind it up to your radio and go fly. You will need some 2 to 3S batteries. Don't run it on 4 if you want to, unless you want to blow it up. So those motors might last about 5 seconds on full throttle at 4S. So be careful with that. This is the Mini Magnum Light version on here. So we're going to check this out. We're going to pop the hood and I'm going to show you what's on the Baby Hawk R Pro. But first we're going to go out to the coast, and we're going to get crazy on the coast, because if you've ever flown the Oregon coast, if you've ever flown a quad out there, you know a lot of those cliffs, you have one shot, and if you lose video, you can crash in the water. If you lose signal, you can fail safe and crash in the water. So there's all kinds of hang-ups that you can get flying out in new terrain and places where you've never flown before. You've got one shot, and that's pretty much it. But we're gonna take a lot of shots with this one, and we're gonna see what we can get, what we can come back with. So enjoy the action edit real quick, guys. After that, we'll come back in the shop and I'll give you my opinion on the R Pro.
I be diving in the crowd, shaking my dread, acting wild. Can't do me to blow down. Too turned up, I can't turn down. All I wanna do is party, my head keep on spinning round. Baby girl, won't you bust my drop it to the ground. I be diving in the crowd, shaking my dread, acting wild. Can't do me to blow down. Too turned up, I can't turn down. I be diving in the crowd, shaking my dread, acting wild. Can't do me to blow down. Too turned up, I can't turn down. Can't turn down, can't turn down, can't turn down, can't turn down, can't turn down.
All right, so let's go ahead and break it down on the bench. Let me give you my opinion of the Hawk R Pro. Has Emax done a good job with this one? We have taken quite an evolution to get here. The original one right here on the right hand side, that one has seen a lot of changes. That little capacitor on the side is no more on the new version. This is basically version 3 compared to the old one. Now, what are some of the changes also between the 3-inch version and the newer version? Well, this one has extended arms. Both of these do have the bottom replaceable arms on there, so they shaved off a lot of weight on the 3rd version that we have here by not doing that on this new one. The new one actually has a unibody, so RS1106's 6,000 kVs on the first one with those 2-inch props, and those were the Avant Micros. And we have the middle version, which is the RS1106 with 4500s. You can run 4S on those, and the Avant 3-inch props on there. And with the newer one, RS1106 version 2, 6,000 kVs, you can't run 4S on this one, so just run this one on 2 and 3S on these new Rush style props. These are super awesome. These guys are like monster truck wheels. They are definitely taking a huge beating and still driving quite well on the quad. And there's been quite a few changes, starting with the canopy up top. That's the most obvious redesign. From front to back right here, we have a different design, a bottom plate covering that little PCB right there, which is great, and side to side protection. And this camera is actually recessed in there as well. So both sides we have protection on here and from the bottom, and that PCB. On the old one, I broke 2 of these cameras, so this one sticks out a little bit in a front impact, and 2 of them are now gone. But with this one, it's actually recessed a little bit, as you can see right there. This camera has maximum protection compared to the older one, and this one came home with the camera intact. Now the right hand side right here, the original one, it does have the unibody like I said, and replaceable arms on the old one, but this is just going to lighten it up a little bit, and they are the same thickness. As you can see here, they're both running about 3 millimeters on the bottom plates of both of these quads. Now let's look at the stack right here. This is that Magnum Mini Lite. We have the capacitor back here now, and it's moved. Make sure you put a zip tie on yours, because you don't want to pull this off of your ESCs and ruin your stack. So you'll need to get new ESCs if that happens. Now on the bottom of the old one, check this out. See how close that chip is right there? They had a problem with the original Emax Baby Hawk Rs because people were having short circuits. That chip was so close and so dangerous that people were putting things underneath it to keep them from frying. But look at all of the clearance we have now. Emax is making sure that with this version, we're not going to short anything out. Nothing is going to touch all the way around on this quad from front to back. Nothing is even close to the bottom of that frame. So that's a major design, a redesign. Now let me go ahead and take this apart and show you the stack. Now we're looking at that Magnum Mini Lite version. They have the Caddx Turbo Micro S1 on here, and let's just take a look at this camera a little bit closer up. Let me give you some specs here. 1/3 sensor CCD camera, 600 TVL NTSC or POW, which is great. And we also have a voltage range of 5 to 40 volt, which is super awesome. A huge voltage range. 5 grams on the camera is nothing. 19 by 19 by 19 is pretty standard for micro cams, and we have DWDNR on here, so it's a really good looking camera. Most people really like the Caddx cameras, so I think Emax was good to partner up with Caddx, and they have a simple harness in the back for all of your camera control and everything like that. It does have camera control, so you can go in and change up your OSD settings, take things on or off the screen, or move things around just by using your sticks on your transmitter. You're going to have to go into Betaflight and make sure it's set up. Once it's set up, then you can go ahead and change up your camera settings. Now also in here we have 3 different stacks. We have the 20 amp ESCs at the bottom right there. You have your harness going up to the flight controller. That's an F4 with a Maytech firmware. We have the boot button facing back right there, which is different. Your LEDs are built into the flight controller, and we have a switchable VTX, which is great. So the display right there is going to show you 25 milliwatt and 200, and it's easy to see through that canopy right there. This is your D8. This is a little tiny Emax receiver that's on there, and I had plenty of range with this one. I didn't have any issues with that, but my biggest joy about this is the fact that it does have the MMCX connector back here. This is super durable, and it's definitely not coming off during flight, which is great. Now let's look at the layout real quick. It's a 20 by 20 setup here forward, and you have your bolts on each side right there. These are metal bolts, metal post. You have your USB port, your boot button right here. You have your built-in LEDs in the back. You have your built-in buzzer, which is great. You have your 3 wires for your receiver and your little bind button right there. When you get it, you're going to pop the top on it and bind it up in D8 in your Taranis transmitter. So pretty important to make that work. Now you have your F4 chip right here, and your camera harness is here, and to the right of that is where your pins are going to plug in for your VTX, your switchable 25 to 200 milliwatt VTX. That's pretty easy setup right there for a micro stack. And over on this side of the flight controller is a little harness. It just wraps around to this side and plugs into the ESC, so it has all your signal wires and your power. Now we have 3mm on that bottom plate, which is exactly the same as the old Baby Hawk R. You get a CADX manual, which is great for your camera, 2 sets of props in there, and you get some extra hardware. Emax has some of the best hardware out there, metal bolts, and those go through your stack. You have camera bolts there, your CADX controller. You're probably not going to need that, and they have this battery strap, which it does fit around a pretty big battery, but it's not the best one. Your camera cap right there, and the Baby Hawk R Pro manual is actually pretty decent. They give you an exploded schematic right here. Just below that we have the product specs and 120mm wheelbase, and that's from motor to motor. You also get the Avon Rush 2.5-inch props in there, 92 gram total weight without the battery, F4 flight controller with that Matek F405 inside Betaflight, and you have Bullet 20 amp BL Heli ESCs, which are super awesome. But tons and tons of awesome stuff in here. Make sure you run this on 3S maximum on this particular drone. So let's go ahead and weigh each of these drones. The first one, the R Pro, let's go ahead and do a dry weight with no battery, 92.5 grams. So they're pretty close. And with a 3S 450, 133.6 grams. Total takeoff weight. The original Baby Hawk R, 86.8 grams, and with the 3S battery, 127.9 grams. Now the 3-inch version, let's put that on there, 93.1, and with the battery, 134.3 grams. Not bad for the 3-inch, actually, kind of impressive there. But let's go ahead and get honest about the R Pro versus the older models. Where we're at now with this one is way better. They did listen to the community, which I love. They added a CADX camera, 20 amp ESCs on here. We do not have the 4S version motors on this one. You can get the 4500 versions and put those on there if you want to run 4S on the R Pro. But everything in this box is just a little more expensive than the original one. If you want to click that link down below, you can check one out. And this is definitely a good quad. So 5 stars for the Emax R Pro. 5 stars all day long. And if you want to win this one, guys, it doesn't cost anything. You can win the iFlight IH3 right here. It records 1080p video and is super awesome. It's a long range edition, and you can possibly win the Baby Hawk R Pro. All you have to do is click down below, make a comment, let me know where you're from and why you fly, and that's pretty much it. Sign up to be my Patreon down below too, and that would really help out with the channel. I'd really appreciate that. But thanks for watching, guys. I'm Justin Davis. Take care, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.